Well, hey there. Happy Customer Service Week. Welcome to day 3. We are jumping right in today. I have 10 energizers for you that you can use this week for Customer Service Week and beyond. Energizers that will bring fun to your team, cohesiveness, and a sense of connection. I'm excited about what I'm sharing with you today. 10 ideas to energize your team, make your team more cohesive, and inspire fun and connectedness. All right, all of these ideas I have tried either with my own teams or with clients as I consult with them. All right, let's get started. My first idea is invite someone from the C-suite to come to your contact center and take phone calls. I did this many years ago when I was heading up a call center. And one of my employees made the suggestion quite flippantly, why don't we get the president to come down here and see what it's like to take a customer service call? And I thought, I really liked that idea. So I reached out to the president's executive assistant with an idea. What if we got the president to come down just for a few minutes? Come say hello to the team, talk with them for a bit, and then shock everybody when he sits down at a computer, puts on a headset, and actually takes a phone call or a few from customers. My president agreed. So the assistant got back with me within a week or two and said, yes, he would do that. We scheduled it and we kept it a surprise. Only the supervisors and I knew. And he came down and just immediately sat down and took a phone call. I mean, we had to walk him through, how to gear up for a phone call. And he didn't initially tell customers that he was the president. We had fun with it. I mean, of course, as a president, he's far removed from the front line and talking to customers. It was a lot of fun. There were mistakes. There were missteps made. He would, at the end of the call, reveal that he was the president. My staff loved it. I'm talking about laughing out loud and stories for days after that. That was powerful. And aside of the fun and the energy and the surprise of that day, it made my people feel recognized. It made them feel seen. It made them feel heard that the president would come down and take phone calls. So if you think you can pull this off, if you can get your president or anyone from the C-suite, if you get the VP of marketing, anyone that would come down and spend time with your team and actually talk to customers, it will be super successful. If you can pull it off during Customer Service Week, do that. But if not, save this for an idea that you get back to and you try later. All right, next idea, launch with the president. At the same company where we had the president come down, or invited the president to come down and take calls, the president had a monthly meeting with people who were management and above. So it was a meeting where, it was a lunch actually, it was a lunch at the mahogany boardroom table. They brought out linens and, fine china, bone china, and we would have a lunch catered in with servers. I mean, it was a really exquisite, fine dining experience in the president's suite. And you had to be invited. And on average, you got to go about once every 14 months. They would cycle people through. And it was always a big deal when you got to have lunch with the president. And I thought one day when it was my turn, I think it was my second time in the boardroom with the president, so I'd been with the company a couple of years, I had the idea of, what if we did this, not just for management, directors, the higher ups, but what if we began to include people on the front line, specifically from the call center? And that had not been, the plan for the history of the company or the history of that particular president. It was management and above. And we had far too many people, in the company to do this with everyone. But my idea was received and accepted. Let me backtrack. One of the goals of the meeting when you had lunch with the president was there was no agenda. It was just sharing, getting to know one another and the president, and you could bring up ideas. But it wasn't a business meeting. It was really a lunch. But in my second meeting, I brought that up, and the president thought that was a great idea. My call center, we had two call centers at this company. One was large. We had over 300 agents. That was our reservations call center. They booked rental cars. That was the industry. My call center was smaller. I think we had 15 to 17 people. That was a customer care. So we handled complaints and answered questions. So we agreed as a trial to include, with management and above, frontline people in my contact center to be chosen at random to have lunch with the president. And I remember the first employee who went, it was a big deal. He was nervous. He dressed up, but it felt so good for him to get outside of the call center, dress up, and have lunch with the president. That is an idea that turned out to be priceless. We continued that practice for as long as we had that president of our company, which was several years after that. So maybe that's an idea, or you springboard and think, who would my team like to have lunch with? Just to do something different, have a different experience. I always had fun with that when I got to go and when I sent staff. All right, food. You know we love food. Office buffets are perfect during customer service week, really anytime. And we can do this if your team is remote, like so many are. You can do a virtual meet up over food. So I'll start with, if you're in the office, it's easy. Just order food. And when I would celebrate National Customer Service Week, when I manage a call center, we would bring in food every day. So it would be, for breakfast, it's donuts or it's pastries. We did something every morning, and then we would do lunch, and it would be, different. So it might be pizza one day, it might be sandwiches another day, but we did a different, entree or different cuisine every day for lunch. And then I would bring in snacks. So we would do it big. I think I mentioned on day one of Customer Service Week that we did an ice cream cart. We had an ice cream cart brought in, but we would do afternoon snacks, even if it's just candy. But we did that, and people really loved it. If your team is virtual, you can do the same thing. I was doing a virtual workshop for a group in Denver. I was here. Everyone in the workshop was in their homes in the Denver area. And it was an evening workshop. It was a small group, and they could not afford to be off of the phones during the day. So we started the workshop at 5:30 p.m. so people would work their whole day, and then they went right into the workshop. Well, they finished work at 5 p.m. and we started the workshop at 5:30. There's no time to eat, to interact with your kids. But what the manager did is she ordered food for everyone, sent out a menu, and everyone got to pick what they wanted. And then she ordered and had everything delivered at around the same time. So what we did is we took a break. So the workshop was 5:30, I think, until 9 p.m. When the food arrived, the manager wanted us to just eat during the workshop. I thought, no, they deserve to take a break. So I said, when everybody's food is here, we're going to take a break. We take our breaks anyway in virtual workshops, and we will enjoy our dinner. But it was fun that we ordered for everyone. And when I learned that they were doing the dinner, because I didn't know it initially, but the manager emailed me and said, oh, by the way, I've ordered dinner. Well, I ordered my own dinner. I had Italian delivered at around the same time, and I stood right here and ate that. And it was just really fun to know. I don't know if fun is a word, but it was exciting to know that we're sharing a meal together, at least virtually. You can do that for Customer Service Week. Pizza is easy, but everybody delivers. So you can do that. One workshop for a group in Arizona, someone ordered breakfast. We started at 7 a.m. every day for this series of workshops. I did 25 workshops. We were cycling 1,300 people through. And some of the days people would order breakfast to be delivered at people's homes at around the same time. So have fun with food. That brings energy. We like to eat. We love to eat. We have to eat. Virtual breakout room always open for people to hang out. I got this idea from the virtual office hours that I hold here for my clients. So my clients that are in my digital classroom is what we call it when they're taking online courses from us, we schedule live virtual office hours. And what I do is I come in and turn on my camera and I just wait for people to show up. And, I'm working, checking emails, doing other things while they're waiting or while I'm waiting on them. Sometimes no one, shows up. Other times we have like more than 20 people. So it just depends on the day. And I thought, what if I shared this idea with my clients, with everybody working from home, where occasionally you just had, a breakout room or a break room that you open on Zoom or whatever platform you use where somebody is in there the whole time. So I don't know if that's an assistant, that is a manager, that's a supervisor, and you welcome people to come drop in. Maybe you've got your coffee. You went downstairs to your Keurig and you got your coffee or your orange juice, your matcha tea, whatever you're drinking. You just come in the virtual break room with your camera on and you get to catch up with people that you work with. And like an actual break room in person, people are going to come and go at different times. But I like the idea of having one person there to say, hey, how you doing? And the idea is just to say hello. Talk about what you're drinking. Talk about your kids. Talk about what your bucket list post-pandemic is going to be. Talk about your day. Talk about frustrations. But that can be so much fun, and you can have music playing if you like, and people stay as long as they like or as little time as they like. But it's a way to connect in a virtual way that can be fun. So I have been able to pull that off with clients, and I love it. Very similar to my office hours. All right. Start, stop, continue. If you've been to any of my workshops in person or online, you have heard me utter these words. And I end, even keynotes, I end most of my presentations by asking people to quickly jot down, based on what you've learned today, what will you start doing, what will you stop doing, and what will you continue? It's a quick way to set goals. Well, I also use the start, stop, continue as a tool to improve processes. A lot of people don't know that. I say that for the consulting side, but I'll ask employees. I go right to the front line. So whatever the task we're working on, if we're trying to bring the average handle time down, or if we're trying to speed up the time it takes for us to close a case, whatever the problem is that we're working on, I ask the front line, what do you think we need to start doing when it comes to managing our average handle time? What do we need to start doing differently? And that might be, someone might say, well, we really need to expand the time. Maybe 3 minutes and 12 seconds is not enough, for example. Or we need to start training people on phrases they can use to get customers to cut to the chase. But that's up to them. It's an open-ended question. What do you think we need to start doing? What do we need to stop doing? And what do we need to continue to do? I use start, stop, continue on everything. Just yesterday, I was speaking with a client, and we were looking at ways to make AI, artificial intelligence, and technology really work for the customer and for customer service specialists. And so we spent a lot of time talking about what didn't work. On my end, I talked about it's frustrating if it's redundant, where a customer has given information to the AI and then the employee has the same information. So we talked about maybe we need to omit redundancy. And so things like that. So I said, but even better, okay, go to your front line and ask them, when it comes to our technology, the things we automate, AI, what do we need to start doing? What do we need to stop doing? What do we need to continue to do? And I wanted my client to go to the front line because these are the people that talk to customers, who hear the problems, who are going to feel the pain point for customers and for themselves. So whenever you're trying to solve a problem or improve upon something in general, go to the front line and ask them, start, stop, continue, and have them type it out. Have them share it verbally if you're able to get everybody together and have someone in the meeting who is taking notes. That can be very powerful in process improvement. Virtual scavenger hunt. Back to something that's a little more fun. So this is for my people who are working remotely still, which I imagine is a lot of you, a lot of us. One of the things that I do in my virtual workshops, not every one of them, but when I do a longer virtual workshop, I always start with some sort of icebreaker. And one of my favorite icebreakers, my favorite because the audiences have loved it, is having a scavenger hunt. So what I do is I type up a list of 10 things that people are to go hunt for in their homes. And then I drop that list in a PDF. I send it in the chat through Zoom so they can all grab it, and then I just copy and paste the 10 things. So if you don't want to download it, you can see it. And so little things. So it might be, which is a contest. So the first person to find all 10 items, come back to the camera and show it to us wins. Maybe that's a $25 gas gift card, or, a $50 gift card somewhere, whatever that is. Or I'm going to cash app you $100. The first person who gets all 10. You choose the prize depending on what you can give out at your company, what your giving policy is. But we might have things, find a stuffed animal, a toothbrush. I'm trying to think some of the things, a camera that is not a telephone. A coffee mug. So you just things that are easy to find that may not be in their immediate area, because the idea is you want people to get up, you want them to move. I think one time we had a fork. Go find a fork. So people are gonna have to go to the kitchen. So you have fun with that. It doesn't matter what you put on the list. Anything you want to put. So something that you think most people will have. Another one that was really fun. We asked people to snap a picture of their view. So wherever you were, so if your view is, for me, my view is lights and cameras, but if I turn, I have, a window and I've got a backyard. So take a picture of your view and drop that in the chat. And then you come back and then everybody, or the first person, shares in order to get the prize. And what happens is a lot of people just want to share, because I participated. I want to share too. So that's a lot of fun for virtual teams. I've done that a lot, and it always is fun. Virtual show and tell. So this one is an icebreaker where people move, but maybe not quite as much as the scavenger hunt. So you ask everybody to pick up something near you and show it and tell a story about it. And one of the things that I would do it to demonstrate. So on my desk, I have a picture of my father, a black and white image of my father when he was in his 20s and he was in the Peace Corps in Ethiopia. So I pick up the frame and I tell the story of my dad going to the Peace Corps, and I talk about some of the places he went: Uganda, Kenya, of course, Ethiopia, Tanzania. So I tell a short, 60-second story. So we have people do that. And you make it easy because it's whatever. Whatever is near you, you grab that. For example, right now I have this little hand exerciser. So I could pick this up and that can be my story. I injured my hand and I was trying to regain muscle strength without going to physical therapy. So it can be that simple. But for a virtual meeting, you're trying to bring energy. We're at this place where people have Zoom fatigue, right? We were excited about working from home in the beginning. Not all of us, but many were. But now, over a year into this, okay, another meeting. So you can do this not just for training, but for a meeting anytime you want to bring up the energy. It's a lot of fun. Virtual dance party. I got invited to a virtual dance party. It was a pajama dance party. This was in 2020, so maybe 5 or 6 months into the pandemic, and it was evening. A lady that I had gone to church with had this virtual dance party. So you wore your pajamas, she played music, it was all ladies, and we just danced. And I thought, how cool would that be for a work event? And so, minus the pajamas, or you could. So we played the music in one of my workshops. I just had music playing. I tried to make it upbeat, fun music, and then invited people to dance. Not everybody did. You're going to have your introverts. You're going to have the people that are reserved. You're going to have the people that think, what in the heck? But many will participate. And it doesn't have to be long. Like 3 minutes of dancing, And you can do this in a meeting, in a training. It doesn't always have to be at the top of the meeting. If you feel like, wow, it's a lot of fatigue here, let's just do something fun. So try that. You can up the energy anytime, any place with that. Personality tests are also fun. I have done this. Not as fun as a dance party or a virtual scavenger hunt, but it can be enlightening. People love to take a personality test. So that can be the Enneagram, it can be colors, it can be Myers-Briggs. But what you would do is, most of the time, I like to administer the test before the event, ask people to do it on their own time, and then you get everybody to share who they are, what their profile says they are. For example, if it's Myers-Briggs, I am INTJ. So have everyone share and then break down the different profiles. And don't think that it's irrelevant because we are customer support. It's nice to know who you are, who your coworkers are, and how people approach things, because we approach things differently. So that's fun. That is advanced planning. You want to choose a personality profile that is a good fit, right, for your people, and that you have the time commitment to do that. Those tend to take time too. I mean, probably well over an hour. My final idea that I'll share today is guess the baby. And I got this idea from my daughter. My daughter in college last year, when they were taking classes online, she attended and I don't think it was actually for class, it was a mixer for a social group that she was a part of on campus, but they had gone online. And it may have been the NAACP, because she's an executive with the NAACP on campus. So I believe, but don't quote me on that, it was a mixer for NAACP where people were asked to get a picture of themselves as a baby and take a picture of, because because most of my daughter's baby pictures were physical pictures. She's 21 now. So they were asked to take a picture of a picture, send it in, and then the facilitator would show baby pictures on the screen, and then people were to guess who the baby is. And it's fun, and it's kind of fun going back looking for your pictures. I remember when my daughter asked me, and as a mother, I loved going through the boxes and boxes of photos to give her several to choose from. You can do that in the workplace as well. People will have fun with that. So try guess the baby. That doesn't take, well, it depends on the size of your team. If you have 8 or 9 people in the meeting, it will go pretty fast. But you can speed it up, because you'll recognize features and they'll guess. But people like seeing their coworkers in a different light. All right, those are my top 10 ideas for bringing energy, fun, and connectedness to your team. Try out one or more of these energizers this week with your team. All right, I will see you right here tomorrow for day 4 of Customer Service Week.